Hi there, E.A. Tischler here with New Horizons Golf. Today I want to talk to you about getting a little bit more separation in your golf swing. So a lot of golfers get the sense that they go up to the top of the backswing, and from here they feel like their upper body turns early. They sort of feel like they're covering it too much, so they're getting outside, and they get their pulls and their swipes. We've done some other videos on similar actions before, and we had some different solutions or different ways of looking at it to try to get a better golf swing action so that we could get a better result. Today I want to talk about the process of separation. Some players, when they get this, I call them early turn pulls, early turn swipes, early turn hooks, they're actually just not creating enough separation in the sequencing from their feet to their knees to their hips to their shoulders in the golf swing. So if we get set up and we get in the athletic posture and we have this sense of how far can we turn our shoulders before we feel like we need to turn our hips. And then if we keep turning our hips deep enough, we're going to feel like we got a lot of pressure into the ground in our feet. Well, from here, I've turned deep enough that it feels to me that if I were to get the club in my hands and go up to the top, that there's no way I could start left. Even if I start unwinding from the top, I feel like I'm going to come down from the inside in the slot. And so having the right type of separation that you're creating room to do that's important. Because I can go up to the top, try to create separation in the transition by sliding my hips and tilting my shoulders, and all of a sudden I'm going to be stuck way inside, and I'm either going to block it or I'm going to stall flip it from there. So getting the sequence right is important. And one of the things that we can do is get this sense of, again, how far can I get comfortably turn my shoulders? Now from here I'm going to turn my right hip deep enough and let my shoulders continue to turn more. I really feel like at this point I've got my back to the target. My left shoulder feels like it's much more behind the ball. There's even a sense right now that there's no way I can get left. Some players even tell me that they don't feel like they can get back to the ball from here. But if they trust it from here, just swing, unwind, posture up to the ball, all of a sudden they find they get back to the ball, nice square shots, and they're actually ripping them, if anything, with a little push or a little push draw, or down the line, instead of really playing them to the left with that pull move. So from the down the line view, what we want to see again is if I get set up, good athletic posture, how far can I turn my shoulders? Go ahead and turn my hips back, get that right hip nice and deep now. From here, if I put the club in my hands, I go to the top, I've got a nice deep swing. I really feel like I can start down from the inside as I'm unwinding. Then I can start posturing up through the ball as I come through the ball and go ahead and finish it off all the way around to my target. So getting the sequence right is important. Now, some people will feel like they need to get set up and get the sense of turning that right hip deep first and then getting the chest turned as far as they can. When I do this, I actually feel like from my left shoulder down to my left hip, through my left knee to my left foot, that I'm actually sort of stretching and creating a bigger gap or a bigger separation along the whole left side of my body when I do that. So, you can start with the right hip turn and then try to get that stretch feel in your left side. You can actually move the left side in, then coil and try to get that stretch. You can feel like the left shoulder creates the stretch first and then I let everything else turn. Either way, you got to turn deep enough that your back's going to be the target, that your left shoulder feels like it's either more behind the ball or under your chin, and that you really feel like when you start down, you're going to start down from the inside. And if anything, you may feel like there's no way you can get back to the ball, or there's no way you can swing left from there. You actually feel like you're going to swing more out to the right from there. The key is trigger your swing in the manner that works best for you. Some people will actually start the left knee in first, the left hip will go back, and then from there, they try to get that turn, that separation with the shoulder so that they get deep enough. Some people are going to get set up and they feel like they start their turn more with their hips. And then again, from there, the chest and the left shoulder's got to turn deep enough that you really feel like you've gotten behind the ball. Other players are going to feel more like it's just that left shoulder turn to start the swing. They create that separation by turning the left shoulder away from the left side. If I had a vertical line here, we would see that at the top of the backswing, my left shoulder is going to be a lot further away from that line at the top than it was at address. Now as I unwind, it's starting to restore back towards where it started. And eventually when I get to impact, we can see it's back to where it started. But I'm trying to create a bigger gap there. I'm trying to get the sense that my right hip's turning deep enough that I'm creating a gap over here with this vertical line. But in the top, I'm actually trying to get my left shoulder, my back turned deep enough that I've actually got it further away from the vertical line on the left side of my body. So if I can get that separation right, then I feel like I really have, once I get to the top of the backswing, I feel like I'm really loaded up. I feel like, man, I'm in a position where I know if I just unwind and unleash it, freewheel that release, that good things are going to happen. And all good players have felt that before. They've all felt, man, I know I'm in a top of backswing position where I can just go at it from here. They say it's automatic from there. I'm just reacting. Well, we're trying to find what that top of the backswing position feels like. So, how deep can we get it? I want to make sure I've got some separation as I get those deep turns. But from there, I'm just going to go ahead and unwind it. And when I got to the top of the backswing that time, I felt deep enough that I felt there was no way I could start that ball left. I even had a sense that, subconsciously I sort of felt like it was going to be hard to get back to the ball. But I still got back to the ball and I striped it right down my line that time. That was a good swing. When I'm practicing, I actually try to stretch it out even a little bit longer. I don't want to practice at 100%. And then try to play at 80%. I definitely don't want to practice at 80% and play at 80%, because we tend to only play at a level that's 70%, 80% of what our potential is. So if I want the ability to play at 80, 90%, close to 100%, I actually need to feel like I'm actually practicing or stretching it out, more practicing at 110%. So this next one, I'm going to try to stretch it out, get a little bit deeper. I'll even see the club head out of my left eye at the top of the backswing when I really get this separation correct. Okay, so I stretched that one out, felt like I had a lot more separation that time. That contact was a little bit more thin, but once again, I was trying to get to 110% of what I'm working on instead of just practicing at 80 or 90%. And it's okay to practice at 80 or 90%, work your way up, but ultimately, I feel like from a conditioning standpoint, that I need to be able to practice at 100 to 110%, just so I know that when I go out and play at a comfortable level, I'm going to be playing at least 80%. Okay, let's do one more here. See if we can get the whole package together, get good contact, and really strike this one. All right, nice full stretch, had good separation there. I actually saw the club head out of my left eye, but my rhythm was good. I trusted enough that time that the contact was great also. That was a good drive. So, for those of you that actually get those early turn pulls, feel like their upper body's sort of leading the transition or leading the downswing, see if you can get a little bit more separation between where your feet are and your knees and your hip turn, and then where your hip turn is and where your chest turn is. And if you can get a little bit more separation between the foot to ground connection in the hips and then the hip and the shoulder motion, you're going to find that you're going to be deeper, you're going to be unwinding more from the inside. If anything, you're going to feel like you're going to get a push. In your mind, you're going to get a push instead of a pull. And you're going to feel like, wow, I really pushed that one. You're going to look up and be surprised that it's actually going to be going down your corridor right at your target.